What up? It's your boy UAG back in the building with another episode. And in this episode, we have a kind of a conversation about the iiRcade. And I wanted to bring a special guest to the channel. We'll do a collaboration, and this is going to be a series. So without further ado, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Mike of all trades. What's up, brother?
You know what's going on, yo? Thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? Here to get into these topics.
Yeah, so this is the topic at hand. iiRcade is having a crazy ass sale. I mean, really crazy. If you're like me, and you got it after the Kickstarter, the prices was pretty high. We're talking about $7.99, anywhere to $8.20 to $7.99 for a unit. Let me bring up some images so you can see what the hell I'm talking about, because it was pretty pricey. I had this Dragon Slayer one. You know, that's their premium version. It comes with San Juan buttons, 128 gigs of memory. That's normally $800, right?
Wow.
So it's a pretty penny. But I will say this, for the quality of the unit, you could say it was worth it. Now, some might say the content in it doesn't warrant that price tag, because it doesn't have some of the marquee titles that like a arcade 1-up would have. But it does have some unique titles that to them, like, you know, you have Dragon Slayer, and that's a big cult classic, right? You have Double Dragon right here. So you had some really good titles, and you know, the quality. You got a 19-inch screen, you got San Juan buttons and a joystick. You got crazy ass speakers that, you know, could blast. I guess it would come up to, you know, the individual. Is it really worth that price? So right now, actually for the last couple of months, they've been doing some sales. But this one takes the cake. Basically, you got that that's $799 unit is now $599. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's an awesome deal. Again, Retromania, same thing. And all these other units. Now they started to do this thing here where these skin cabinets, these premium cabinets, used to only come in 128 gig version. Now they went down to 64, so you save yourself $100, because they noticed that these games didn't take up a lot of memory, right? So you got that, and coming out with, like, you know, 100 units here. This one's a 500 unit. These are the regular ones, and then they came out with these hideous units. The Sydney Hunter and the Toe Jam and Earl, they're both 100 units. I mean, they're only selling 100 of these. They must know that these ain't gonna sell.
Are they gonna sell 100? I guess that's the question.
Are they even gonna sell? I mean, come out with 100 units, I guess, to make it like, yo, there's a limit. You got to get it when you can. You know, build that supply and demand. Again, I'm not, you know, there's people out there who are excited about this. I would say for those people who already own these, we don't really care. Like, we care about some other things. But I guess you got to entice these people here. So, I mean, and then on top of that, like, let's see, Amazon had just the top for $299. Now those are all sold out. They only have this unit here, but it really don't make the sense to buy it here for $699 when you can buy it on theirs for $599. Right. And then people were going back and buying the base here for $50. So you could get yourself $350 and have the unit in your house. That's a pretty good price. I mean, for the lackluster titles, $350, that's, hey, you could take a gamble on that and say, you know, whether or not some other titles are coming down the line. I posed a question to you, Mike. If you paid these premium prices before and you start seeing these prices, what are you thinking?
I'm the type of person that if I buy something and I pay a price for it, it's because I want it. So at the time, you know, it's just kind of the same thing with like where you see discounts on the the ALU or the arcade one-ups, you know what I mean, where like people were getting them for like 50, 75. You know, people were getting their NBA Jam cabinets for $100. Fun fact, I paid full retail for my NBA Jam before it took a crap. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things where it's like, if I'm paying for something, it doesn't bother me that much. It makes sense for them to put this stuff on like right now. I covered this in the video on my channel last week. It makes sense, you know. Black Friday is coming around. It's the holiday season. People want to give gifts. Would I be a little upset with it? Maybe. You know what I mean? It's risk reward. It's one of those things where you're paying to get in the door. You know, people who paid for it and kickstarted it, they shouldn't be mad about it. I don't know what the original Kickstarter price was, but they have the cabinet. And obviously, they believed in it, so it was something that they wanted. As far as people getting it now for $299 and $350 if you order the stand from them, that's a deal. Like, honestly, that's a deal. You know, no matter what the tech, no matter what the titles they have or whatnot, $350 is a deal for a bar top and a stand. And
just on the wood alone itself is worth that price.
Right, exactly. And so that's a steal, you know. Props to iiRcade, like, you know, liquidating. I'm gonna say it's liquidating, but whatever, for them selling their product, you know. But I guess if I'm a day one owner, I guess I'd be a little miffed. But then the question becomes, well, what do they get? Should they get anything for buying it day one? And I don't think they should. You knew what the product was. You know what I mean? Like, you knew what you were financially investing yourself in. If anything, you should be more happy that these products are now on sale and that you're going to get more people into your ecosystem. More people into an ecosystem, you know, creates more interest from developers or from companies, indie devs or whoever else to be like, hey, well, we have a baseline of X amount of consumers, and we feel that this game will do really well on our platform. And to be able to approach them with these with better numbers and better install base, that's nothing that people should be upset with at all.
So, Mike, let me just piggyback off of that, because you brought up some valid points. In anything in life, when you are the first to purchase anything, you're paying a founder fee, like, you know, like that premium to be the guy. You pay a little bit more. I mean, actually, when you were in Kickstarter, you got a little less, but when you're in that in between, you pay a little bit more. So the only way I would see if someone getting upset is, let's say you bought it a week before the sale went on, then you could probably be a little upset, but it's just the way it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Now, in terms of what you said with what they should be happy with, they definitely should be happy that more people are going to be entering the iiRcade family.
Right.
Because that's only going to entice those publishers to say, you know what, this base is getting pretty up there. You know what, I'll take a chance. Let's give them one of our lower tier titles. Let's give them a Virtual Fighter. You know, see how that goes.
Right.
Virtual Fighter goes, we'll give them something else. You can only get that with your base being a certain amount. Like, when you get to the big boys, just me speaking with John D, they first go like, listen, we need you to have this amount of cabinets out there so we can see this amount of attach rate. So if you had 1,000 units, you know, and I'm not saying that they only sold 1,000, but just as a simplified math, if you had 1,000 units out there and you had a 20% attach rate, that means only 200 units are buying these games, right? They need the numbers to be astronomical to get a good source of an attachment rate. That's where the publishers are thinking about, like, you only got 1,000, that 20%, that's not gonna work for me. I need you to sell 100,000 units and then come back to me with that 20% rate, and then we could talk.
Okay, but then the question becomes, with the titles that they're currently offering as marquee titles, do you even think that they could hit 100,000? Now, we don't know the sale figures. They haven't hit 100,000 yet, have they?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that they're not. Okay. I'm pretty sure that they're not. But this is where, you know, it's the egg or the chicken, right? Are we going to get those titles, or are we have to sell those units? And I think we're at the point where we're like, we sold a good amount of titles, but we're not getting the titles that we need. So how do we get there? We got to move these units. How are we going to move these units? Some people are saying these prices are too astronomical. So how do we do that? We take a loss. Like, okay, this thing is it's worth $800, but it's $800 to the average person who thinks of where the future could be. As it is right now, it may be $800 worth of wood and technology, but the games aren't on there. They're not thinking it's $800 worth. So how do you get those people that are on the fence? Well, you lower the price down and you basically take it at a loss to the hopes that these new people that are coming in will buy some of your software and stuff like that. And this is nothing that is new. This is a relatively normal practice, especially in the console units. There, like, see that PS5 behind you? They were selling at a loss. Your box, buddy. Yeah, so they were selling that at a loss for a minute. I mean, now they altered what, to lower down the production costs. So they're probably breaking even now, but eventually it will get even cheaper as it goes. But they don't really care because they probably got like a 90% attachment rate in terms of accessories, games, memberships for their online service. So they're making money hand over fist, but they are a proven entity. They know this formula. They've done it since the PlayStation 3 and probably before that. So I know for a fact PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and this unit right here, that's 3 generations of units right there that they've done this, and they said, this is a proven scientific way to get this done. Keep on doing it. And I think that's where iiRcade is saying, listen, let's borrow that philosophy, get our base up there, and we can probably follow suit.
I agree with that, but I think the difference is between consoles and arcades is that, you need you know what I'm saying, and they could use a philosophy and the philosophy works, but we'll use a console thing. If you're selling a PS5 and you're taking it at a loss, you also have titles to go along with it. So one hand shakes the other and they're interconnected. Whereas iiRcade, they're selling a premium product, and I'm sure that it's fantastic, amazing, and the processing power inside of it's great and everything else. But if you have a cabinet but you don't have any games that people want to necessarily play, like for in a black and white world, Space Ace and Dragon Age, 2 of the cabinets that they're offering, are titles that Arcade One Up will be putting out in a couple of months. And I think it's one of those things that Arcade, they're in a unique position where they offer a product, they offer an online store, but without a huge marquee game to help their product move. And I'm pretty sure they thought Retromania Wrestling was going to be their title, except it came out on Steam, Switch, PS4, Xbox One. So it wasn't exclusive to them. They need an exclusive title to get those units moving out the door. I agree with you. They said, I watched your podcast, the Weekly Retro Party, where they did the show with iiRcade, and they said that they had a working relationship with Sega. If they could lock down something like Virtua Fighter, or if they could lock down something, even if you had to use stick and controls, something in the veins of Crazy Taxi or something Sega related, to get people like, okay, they're serious. This is something that can do. Now, is everybody going to run out and buy it for Virtual Fighter? No. But it's something that you could bring a new customer in with and be like, hey, we're offering this. This is what we have. And you have the potential to play Virtual Fighter 1, 2, 3 BT. I don't know the super strength of it, but I guess it's as strong as a Dreamcast inside of it. It wouldn't just be a reskin. It would be something that you could package as a product. And I think that's the other failing point with iiRcade, where it's just, let's be real, they just seem like reskins. You're offering either 128 gigabyte bundles with SoundWise or 64 gig bundles with a game and SoundWise, whatever. And it's just, they're all reskins. Like, I'm not a negative person in life at all, but I'm not willing to go out and spend extra money to buy an iiRcade because it's skinned with Toe Jam and Earl. No matter if it's limited edition. I don't care how much you try to incite FOMO to get someone to purchase something, dude. Your product has to be good. And the thing is, they should be winning because they have an online store. And I understand why they're not, but instead of addressing those issues, it's more of a, well, we know our thing, we know our unit's good. It's just a matter of, we're not going to take the time and secure the games that people want to play. And I think that's the main problem when it comes down to this iiRcade situation.
So speaking to members of iiRcade, their staff and whatnot, they know the titles that people want. They know what people the features that they desire. I don't think it's that they didn't put the time and effort to get it. I just don't think they just don't have a leg to stand on in terms of securing that. They just don't have that user base. I would be surprised if there's 5,000 units in people's homes at this time.
Realistically speaking, I believe that. I can completely believe that.
I would say that.
And it's funny because had they come out with this product, maybe it just launched last year. Had they came up with this product around 2018, the same time that Arcade 1UP launched, it might be a different story. They might have had a shot at securing products from X, Y, and Z, but because you have bigger competitors, your at games, your I'm saying freaking Arcade 1UP, hell, even MVSX, because you have other competitors with higher marquee titles, you're kind of, they're freaking, they're Whataburger or Five Guys, and you guys are, and they're pretty much freaking in search of your worst burger place in the world right now. You know what I mean? And no one wants to invest in that. Like, honestly, even, and it's crazy, even with the Black Friday sale, like it literally took for people to buy it, for it to go on sale on Amazon for $300, for people to come and tell me directly, yeah, I bought this because it was $300. I bought it because it was $300. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, well, hell, it's cheap enough. Let's get it. And then maybe down the line,
at that point, you're saying to yourself, like, I can roll the dice on this. If
right.
if nothing comes out from this, I got 18 or I mean, I think it's 12 titles on there that, hey, it's worth $300. Now, $800, that's a hard pill to swallow. So, I think it's a smart move in their sense, but what would really, like, first off, I think they really need to adjust the price point in the first place going forward.
Right.
I think $800 is a little steep for what you're getting right now. If you came out with saying these existing titles next year, saying all 12 of these titles either have online, some kind of online capabilities, not just leaderboards, then we're talking. Then you're saying, okay, you're getting your money's worth. And people will have the argument, well, these titles never were online before, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. There wasn't online in 1980s. Well, we're in 2021 now, right? And your competitors are bringing the heat with that. You have 1UP killing it with this Big Blue, having 12 titles on there that's all online. You have The Simpsons that came online. I had a update day one. iiRcade has Wi-Fi. They do updates. That's something that they did do right. But only having one game online on this, that's where you start feeling like that just doesn't make sense. And especially, you don't have the greatest titles, but you're willing to say, okay, there may not be the greatest titles, but at least I could play with people within this community. One of the biggest things about this company is the community that they built, but they're not leveraging that community because they don't have online. Imagine the huge community that they built with online. You would think that their lobbies would be full all the time,
right,
and would give so much hype, and the word of mouth would get these units out the door. But you don't give them something really to be excited about. You don't see people yelling to the mountaintops that eggs is out. No one's going to be yelling out eggs. But now, if you told me that, Windjammers, I got Windjammers and it's online and I'm busting people's ass online, and we're talking about it in the Facebook groups or what have you, that is something. Yes, it's an old title, but it's fun when you're playing with people against online, man. It just is.
So wait, they have Windjammers 1 on there, but not Windjammers 2?
They don't have Windjammers 2 yet. But again, the relationships they built. .emu made Windjammers 2.
Right.
So that they're just waiting for the right opportunity to say, boom, here you go. I think that that's not an if, it's a when. But that when better come with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, because that game's already has Wi-Fi and online.
And that's the thing. When you have games that are on other platforms already online, that really, it's like kicking somebody in the teeth. Like, oh, you know, you can have that Retromania. But yeah. If you like this kind of, conversation and topics, stuff like that, give a thumbs up on the video. Give us a, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification for the next one. And check out my man's channel. Go ahead, bro. Tell them where they can find you at, bro.
Just search Michael Wall Trades here on YouTube, or or allmylinks.com/Michael Wall Trades. You can find me anywhere socially.
That being said, guys, as always, keep gaming.